Welcome to another exciting episode of Kevjet, the podcast. I'm excited to introduce to you this week's guest, well-being coach, Nikki Hillhouse. When Nikki's world was rocked by a stroke at the age of 31, it was the catalyst for a transformative pursuit of holistic well-being that she now passionately shares with others. Her compelling story unfolds in our latest episode, where we're privileged to hear how she turned adversity into a lifeline for both herself and those seeking refuge at her wellness retreat in Turkey.
One of the girls said to me, "Do you remember you sitting there and you were going, I'm going to do this. What are you going to do? I'm going to go to my own retreats and I'm going to do it here." I don't know how I was going to do it or the ways and means of, but I just knew that people need help.
Nikki's journey is a poignant reminder that our health is our most precious asset, and she leaves us with valuable insights into how we can all take the helm and become the CEOs of our own well-being.
Come back to my real self, realise that I'm perfect as I am. Okay, there's bits of my body that might not work how it used to, but me, the real me, is still perfectly okay. The pain in life is inevitable, but suffering is optional. I thought, hang on, you're taking my power away. You're not giving me the power to make that choice. So when I decided to think, do you know what? If I want to take a tablet, I'll take a tablet. If I want to do this, I'll do this. I've got the choice to do this. They took all that away from me. And sometimes I look back and I see myself sitting in the waiting room in these hospitals and I'm like, I don't recognise who I am now to how I was then. What does terminal mean? I sort of see terminal, we're all terminal, aren't we?
Sure.
From the minute we were born, we're all terminal.
I'm going to love this answer, I can already tell.
What does love say? What do you need in this moment? What is love saying to you right now? What do you need more of? How are you being in this moment? What would you like more of right now? Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Don't live small. Don't meander through life and thinking, oh, this is it. I'll just accept this is my lot and this is what I need to do in my life. Don't live small. Go and follow your dreams. Do what it is that you want to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you, well-being coach, Nikki Hillhouse. Welcome to Kevjet, the podcast. Nikki Hillhouse, a well-being coach.
Good to be here. Thank you. Lovely to be here.
It's lovely to have this conversation, and I thought we would hit record because we were having a great pre-conversation.
We were. Let's see if we can get any more juicy parts out.
Let's try and backtrack a little bit. So just tell me a little bit about yourself. You are in Turkey, first of all, not far from a beach.
I'm not far, probably about 10-minute drive from the local beach on the western side of Turkey on the Aegean coast. And I moved here about 18 months ago to live here permanently from the UK. And by my accent, you'll probably hear I'm originally from Edinburgh. So in case my dad's listening, yes, I am Scottish. I choose to move to Turkey for the lifestyle, for my own mental and physical health and well-being. And I chose that when I'm here, my health, after suffering many years of ill health and being in the sunshine and the fresh clean air and the mountain air and the sea air, is so good for my health. And also it gave me the opportunity to run my own wellness health retreats, which is about half an hour from where I live, the beautiful eco centre that I run my retreats from.
Beautiful. You decided you wanted to follow that path and help other people after you suffered ill health.
Yes, that's right. I suffered a stroke at the age of 31. I had a bit of neck pain and it was really a bit uncomfortable. And a friend of mine, he said, I've got, there's this great osteopath that I go and see for my back. Why don't you come along and have a session? So I did. I went along and had a session. And I sort of knew there and then when I was lying on the couch, she was pushing down quite heavily on the top of my head. And it was really quite excruciating, the pain in my head and neck. But I just thought, this is what she does. She's the expert practitioner. I'll trust her. That evening I started to get a lot worse, progressively worse. The following morning, I ran a bath because I thought, getting the bubbles, have a nice warm soak, that might help take the headache and neck pain away. And unfortunately, I suffered a stroke in the bath. Yes. So due to we can't ever say why, but it was quite coincidental that I had a manipulation, and then following day I had the artery dissected in the brain.
Sure. And that left you with chronic pain.
Yeah, it left me with chronic pain all the way down my left side, post-central nerve pain all the way down my leg and into my foot. It was like a neuropathy, burning pain, left me with headaches, neck pain, mobility issues. Had to learn to walk again, talk again.
My goodness. And so the quick fix was seeing the doctors and being prescribed pain medication.
That's right, yes, being prescribed pain medication. And I always remember the day that I was leaving hospital, and my consultant, who was, try not to be judgmental here, is a very old man. To me, he felt like he was very old. And I couldn't feel down the left side. I was in a wheelchair, I couldn't walk. And he said to me, you need to accept this is how you are, because you're not going to have any sort of life. This is the quality of your life. Your mental cognitive ability, everything's poor now, all the sort of, and that if that belief had stayed with me, I remember going home that day saying, I won't say the words in my mind, swear word, no, I'm only 31. There's got to be, I've got to push through this and move forward. And that's what I did. I just pushed through and got on with my life. So
when did you decide that you weren't going to just continue with pain medication and that you were going to I read that you were going to become the CEO of your life? I woke up one morning, I was in bed, and my usual routine, I'd spent 15 years, from the age of 31 to, I add all the years up now, I had 15 years in and out of, in Oxfordshire, where I lived at the time, there's a pain clinic. And no fault of the doctors, I was in pain, so it was another drug and another drug, try this one. And before you know it, you've got so many different drugs that you're taking. And so that was the morning I had my usual pills, and I used to have this beanbag cushion, ping, ping, all the time in the microwave, and my 2 cups of coffee, and, so it would help the pain a bit, get up, get ready for the day, go to work, do all the sort of things for the day. And that was the moment. It was, I just sort of laid there and I thought, no, I can't do this anymore. It's just it got to the stage I thought, I just don't want to be here anymore. Maybe checking out of this life would be a lot easier, because it's difficult for people around you to cope with as well. And I thought, no, I deserve a quality of life. Okay, and the word, it wasn't flashing in front of my eyes, but it was almost like something, I could not hear something, but it was power. And I thought, okay, I've got to take my power back. And that's when I decided to become the CEO of my own health and go on my own wellness journey. So was that scary for you, or was that exciting?
It was a bit of both. Very scary and exciting, and very, very difficult, because the amount of medications that I was taking, I just thought, how on earth am I going to come off all these medications? Even though I was still driving a car, going to work, doing everything, because my body got so used to the different drugs that I took. But there's so many side effects to them as well, and I got to the stage that I knew that, okay, it's pain. There must be another way that I can live with pain without having to take all these different drugs, because it was giving me all these other health conditions on top of it because of it. So, yeah, it was scary and exciting, yeah.
Where was the first place that you turned to? Because you must have had to educate yourself.
I'd always been interested in massage and sort of wellness and sort of looking after myself in that way. But I first started going down the food and nutrition side, and I started to look up, it was more for people with cancer, and what do they eat, what do they have in their diet that can help with inflammation. I got told there's a lot of inflammation in my neck and leg and things like this. So I thought, if I can eat a diet that's in an alkaline diet, that there's no inflammation and acidity in the foods. So I went out, and that's when I bought my first juice machine. and I started juicing. So that would be the first sort of steps. Started juicing and looking recipes and changing the way that I ate.
And then eventually you evolved to thinking, wow, if I can do this for myself, I can teach other people.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Join us each week on the Well Beyond Medicine podcast as we explore the 80% of child health impacts that occur outside the doctor's office. Listen and subscribe at nemorswellbeyond.org, where you'll hear pediatric experts, researchers, and policymakers from around the world discussing ways they are revolutionizing children's health. I'm your host, Carol Vassar. Let's go.
Let's go. Well beyond medicine.
That would have been about. I was actually here in Turkey, and a mentor and meditation teacher, friend of mine, Sandy Newbegin, he was hosting a retreat not far from where we were living in our old village. And I went along to one of his wellness retreats. And this was 2014, I think, 2015, and to learn a meditation technique called body cam. And it helped me that much. He said to me, why don't you become one of my coaches? Why don't you learn meditation and become a body cam coach? And I thought, oh no, I don't know if I can do that. Oh no. Because then I was still quite introvert. I didn't really have a lot of confidence. And I was still coming off quite a bit of medication. So that was the first journey of thinking, do you know what? Maybe I could help other people through my journey and what I'm going on and still going on.
You do your own retreats now, don't you?
Yeah, I host my own retreats in Turkey. Yes, at a beautiful place called Yenici Vadi, which is in the Muğla district on the Aegean coast.
So you've really evolved from that first time that you were a guest at a retreat, and now you host your own.
You know, and I always remember sitting there when I was at the retreat, and everyone that I met there, we stayed friends, and we were talking about this last year, and one of the girls said to me, do you remember you sitting there and you were going, I'm going to do this. So what are you going to do? I'm going to host my own retreats, and I'm going to do it here. I don't know how I was going to do it or the ways and means, but I just knew that people need help. This is what I'd like to do. Mm-hmm.
So why don't you walk us through how you do that?
At the retreats, I teach meditation techniques and mindset and well-being techniques. I also have other guests that come in to help. We also have lovely, spa treatments. We go out on a boat trip. There's yoga, and I teach the meditation on the boat trip. I also do mind detox with the guests. So it's a bit of a mixture. It's all about the well-being side of it: mental, emotional, spiritual. Mind, body, soul coming together as a wholeness, because we're all whole. This mind, body, soul.
And how long do your retreats last?
Only about a week, just about a week, 7 days, 6 nights. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. And I suppose you go through meals. You go through the whole. Just walk us through everything, because I would imagine that you start with one aspect of somebody's life, but then you work your way through physical, mental.
I think from the moment people arrive, it's a beautiful, the accommodation, everything's very bespoke. It's in a beautiful valley. It's very quiet. You're in nature. There's the animal sanctuary, everything that's there. So straight away, you're away from your usual busy life, perhaps in London or wherever it is that you're from, city lives, away from work. And you're literally, as soon as you come through that door and you just switch off, straight away you can see people, they're willing to take on board whatever it is that you've got ready to teach them. Yeah, healthy foods. The foods are all organic. We serve vegetarian food. You can have meat if you want it, but all the food is grown on the land. It's all grown there organically. Yes, to the well water and everything. And just the workshops that are put together. So everyone has a chance to be in the room. It's really important that you, whatever you're learning, that you have that time away for yourself to absorb it, because it can be quite emotional when you're going through a lot of self-healing. So it's a mixture of some workshops, time for yourself, on the whole healing journey.
And how does it work with your clients? Do you have people, is it a mix of people that come in for the very, very first time and people who have attended several times? Or how does that work?
It's last year was my first retreat, so this year's my second retreat. So I'm very new to the retreat side. But last year, there was 2 people who were, that I knew sort of through as clients, but mostly people come through not knowing of my work or through a friend of a friend or wherever I've advertised. So, which is lovely for me to get to know people that don't know me.
Sure. And how do people find you?
Via my website, social media, posts that I put out, yes. Mm-hmm.
And so your clients will be a range of people with multiple different needs. So people will come to you they want to find a balance in their life. They want to find peace in their life. They want to heal. How do you personalize, I guess is the word I'm looking for, how you're going to help each client?
Okay, so beforehand, I like to do a clarity call, a Zoom call, get to know that person and what it is that they want to gain from spending their money with me, to coming away to Turkey and having a retreat. Everyone's unique. Everyone's got completely different circumstances. And I also offer a mind detox session so we can get to the perhaps beliefs or the root of the condition or the life problem. So that person starts to build up a bit of a rapport with me before they actually come over to Turkey. So we have that sort of connection already.
And how often is that communication between you and the client?
On the retreat every day.
So before the retreat, is it sort of like the client is able to contact you at any time? Like, do you have a set time for consultations?
If people want to contact me, usually it's covered through a Zoom call and some emails, and I send itinerary, everything that's going to happen, what they're going to. It's really just setting sort of down what people would like to gain and then I'll say to them what I would like them to take away from it. So it's slightly different to my coaching. That's like one-to-one with a client, whereas the retreat is more a group of people coming away for the week.
Sure. And how big is the group in the retreat?
About 10, 12. I have to keep it quite small so it's personal. So you haven't got like 10 to 12 people, maybe 14 at the maximum. Because then you can give more your time, because I kind of can't spread myself too widely. So when you have a big group of people, I find it's very impersonal, and I like it to be quite a personal space and a safe space for people to be able to open up.
You promote the well-being and you're a well-being coach, but earlier when we were talking, your life is very busy. You told me that you have 9 cats.
Yes, 9. I think sometimes if one of the other cats come up, there's 10. There used to be 15. I think we've gone down to about 9. Yes.
So how do you keep your life sort of organized so that you're able to help other people?
My self-care and my well-being is at the forefront. After everything that I've been through, my health, I always prioritize a time in the day for me. And or even on my calendar, like once a week, and that's my afternoon for me to do what I want to do. It could even be an afternoon like down the beach. There has been the odd occasion when I thought, right, okay, and I've been sitting there and I've had a cocktail. I'm all for healthy eating, of course, and have a green smoothie and a juice, but there's times when that self-care comes back to what is it you really want, something that lifts you up and gives you a bit of joy. So I always prioritize a time in the day for me. Yeah, to just do what I want to do. It might be listen to podcasts, it could be reading a book, it could be just getting 10 minutes fresh air. But I always make sure that I have that time alone for me.
That's so important, isn't it? It's like a recharge.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because if I'm no help to anyone else, am I, if I'm exhausted? So it's really important that I sort of, like you say, sort of charge the batteries back up again so I'm ready to go. So it's, yeah. And just getting the fresh air, and even if it's just sitting having a cup of tea in the
Sure.
garden with all the cats around me. I tend to have them all jump on my lap, so I never get peace in that way. But
Although we must say the cats have their own house, don't they?
they do. They do. My partner, he built their cat house for them. And when we go back to visit family in the UK, they have their own feeding machine. So they have the food comes on at certain times of the day and everything. So oh it's like a cat hotel.
Very nice.
They're a private little hotel.
Can you just run me through mind detox therapy? What is that?
Mind detox. Okay, mind detox is basically what we do with mind detox is we are trying to uncover and resolve chronic health conditions and persistent life problems. And I go through a series of questions, and what we tend to do is we come up with a memory that your subconscious, if we had to remember everything that's happened to us in our lives, your brain would it's just too much, isn't it? And if someone's presenting a certain issue or a health condition, or it could just be they're feeling a certain way, not good enough, and there's a belief underlying underneath that they don't feel good enough. We work through mind detox to heal all that. We uncover it and we resolve it. And the thing is, we can't ever resolve and heal the actual memory of what's happened to us, that traumatic event, in that moment. But when we do a mind detox, you literally bring it to a happy conclusion. And we have like these beautiful learnings that we have at the end of it. So that person just feels really like uplifted, even though the memory's still there for them. There's no like emotional charge to it anymore. They can just let it go. It's there, but they don't hang on to it anymore. They just let it go. So it's quite a powerful technique.
What is the process?
I go through a process of asking a few questions to that person, and the way that I ask the questions, they will come up with a memory, and then we talk about the memory, and why it was an issue for them, what was the problem for them, and then we go through it step by step. It's like a 5-step process.
Do you ever have a client that comes to you and they just desperately want to be healed, whether it was a traumatic experience, but they have a block and they're skeptic? How do you deal with that?
Sometimes you have people saying, oh no, so-and-so, my friend, or so-and-so, my husband or wife said, come for a session, and it's not going to work because you're not going, it's just not going to happen to me. And, you don't understand what I've been through. And usually just let the person talk, just listen for what they have to say. And, they don't see it, but I see the blocks, and I can see the little beliefs forming above that, and I'm writing it all down. I'm writing it all down. And then I'll just say, oh, that's interesting. Tell me a little bit about blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, you've hit the nail on the head there. And then we tend to work on, a lot of the time when people come for a session, it's, I want to work on whatever it is for them. And then once they start talking, it's usually what's underneath that, because, there's layers to everything. So it's the superficial stuff. But once you start talking, like underneath that, there's something at the core that needs to be resolved. So it's usually that I quite like a challenging person. And it's usually the ones that go, wow, I never expected that to happen. And then I get a lovely email saying, my goodness, I feel so much better. My back pain's gone. My relationship's got a lot better. So it's, I quite like a challenge.
Let's talk about pain, because that's a big part of your story, isn't it? So you have found, you've taken control of your health and you've taken control of your pain. So tell us that story. How did that work? What's the success part of it? Is there a negative side to it?
For me, it was important that I weaned off all the medications. I mean, I was on morphine and even stronger drugs and morphine, things like that. And I did think, how am I going to cope? How am I actually going to cope with this pain without the medication to numb it, to numb everything? And when I started to see that I wasn't broken, because I was believing what the doctors were saying, I'm broken, I'm not going to be able to do this, this, and this, the stress of all that was obviously exacerbating and making my pain worse. But when I started to learn a lot of the techniques that I actually teach my clients now, I could see that I wasn't broken. And when I sort of started to come back to my real self, realize that I'm perfect as I am. Okay, there's bits of my body that might not work how it used to, but me, the real me, is still perfectly okay.
Were you afraid
And
of how you were going to feel when you started coming off the medication? Were you afraid that you were going to be just someone sat in the corner of a room in pain?
Yes. There was many times when I was weaning off the medication and the pain was just so much, and I just thought, what am I doing this for? And I'd go in like peaks and troughs, and I'd take more medication. That's not working. Very, very difficult. But when I weaned off very, very slowly, and I started to become more confident, because I didn't recognize myself in the mirror anymore. I wasn't the person who I was before the stroke. So I was looking in the mirror going, who is this person? I don't recognize her. I was like a shell of myself, and I had no confidence. And, and I know that the label and all the medication things that they'd given me was adding to it. And when I realized that, I'm a strong woman, come on, you can do this. It's medication. You're not going to die from having physical pain. Pain in life is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So I decided to go down that. Do I want to suffer, or do I, it's optional. I can choose to suffer if I really want to, but I choose not to suffer.
When did it start to turn around? When you start, like, you're weaning off the medication, you're feeling all the side effects of probably withdrawal. Mm-hmm. When did you start to feel some positive effects?
I'd probably say a few weeks later, yeah, because when I sort of adopted the attitude of, you know what, there's nothing actually wrong with me. I survived. I'm lucky to be here. I survived. It's just physical pain. And when I started to sort of adopt that mindset and that attitude, it was all about my mindset. And when I started to have a more positive outlook and a more positive mindset, I became happier. My relationships were better. Everything just opened up for me in that way.
What did the doctors say when you told them you were going to do that?
I don't really tell them. I basically signed myself out of the pain clinic and just sort of said I'm not coming back, or even to any of the doctors, because I just had such a fight for many, many years with the doctors saying, you can't do this, you're unable to do that, you have to take this, you have to take that for the rest of your life, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I thought, hang on, you're taking my power away. You're not giving me the power to make that choice. So when I decided to think, do you know what? If I want to take a tablet, I'll take a tablet. If I want to do this, I'll do this. I've got the choice to do this. They took all that away from me. And when I look back and I see myself sitting in the waiting room in these hospitals, and I'm like, I don't recognize who I am now to how I was then.
It's such a success story.
And I think now it's getting better. I mean, years ago, there was not really mindfulness. Nothing was really spoken about, like the mind-body connection. It was like, oh, you're presenting aches and pains. Okay, it's arthritis. It's doctors without no fault of their own. A patient's presenting certain, like conditions. Like, oh, they have blah, blah, blah. They have blah, blah, blah. But do they ever get asked what's going on in their personal life? Do they ever get asked what they're eating in their diet? It's you need to look at the mind-based cause of things before. I'm not saying that everything, most things are. About 90%, I'd say, of mind-based causes to a lot of disease in the body. Ill-ease, disease is usually caused by excessive thinking, what we put in our bodies, what we're subjected to, what we put in our skin, what we breathe in.
It does. It's the whole package, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's taking that holistic look, an integrative look, an integrative aspect to your health, rather than, because there's not a one size fits all for everybody. We're all different. We're all unique. And I think it's exploring different avenues and trying things. That worked, that didn't work. That worked, that didn't work. And just going along with what works for you.
What is your day-to-day like now, pain-wise?
I still have pain. I still have pain. But I don't fixate on it, maybe like how I used to. You know, I'm human. I am human. And if I have a day when this is getting a little bit, I tend to do a lot of work on myself. It's like, I wonder what's going on there. I like to ask the questions like, what's going on in my life right now? And usually there's an answer to it. There's usually an answer that, that was causing me some stress. This was happening. Possibly that's what's exacerbating my pain. I've been having a little bit too much sugar. But, you know, there's a balance, you know, it's all about creating that harmonious sort of like state within. So sometimes I just have my pain will just sometimes exacerbate. But then I also have to see it as, you know, it's okay. It's okay to not be okay sometimes as well. Because I think we can sometimes beat ourselves up wanting to be okay all the time. But you know what? It's okay to have a down day and I'm feeling a bit shitty today. I'm switching off. I'm going to take some time to myself. Yeah, I tend to do that if that's what I need. Sometimes look at other people's lives going, how on earth do you juggle all these spinning plates all the time? And it's like one's just about to drop, and it's just prioritizing things, isn't it? You can get through the day, but it's just prioritizing it at the right time. And if something's not going to work and it's detrimental to your health, you've got to put the boundaries in place. You need to learn to say no.
I find, just for me personally, I juggle so much at once. And at the end of the night, at the end of the day, I just keep thinking, well, something that I'm juggling is missing out, if not a little bit of everything I'm juggling. And so you kind of have to have a reset and just be like, okay, what's the most important thing that I should be doing, and focus on that. And because if I'm focusing on one area of my life, whether it's my friends or my partner, somebody is going to be missing out of little bits of me. So I try and even myself out fairly, but it doesn't always work.
And that's okay as well, isn't it? That's okay. Okay to see that side and go, okay, tried it, didn't work. That's okay.
Yeah. How would you deal with a client that comes to you who is suffering from chronic pain from a terminal illness?
Okay.
Big question.
Okay. The thing is, for me, what does terminal mean? I sort of see terminal, we're all terminal, aren't we?
Sure.
From the minute we were born, we're all terminal.
I'm going to love this answer. I can already tell.
So we're all infinite. We're all infinite. You know, we come into this earth, we come into this physical body for a short period of time, and then we move on. Okay, so we're diagnosed with a terminal condition, unfortunately. But it's for that person, personally speaking for me, to give them the quality of life that they deserve up until they pass on to wherever it is, heaven, universe, whatever your beliefs are, is making them feel as loved and as comfortable as possible. And what I was saying earlier about taking your power back, and that they've got the right conscious decisions over what it is they need in that moment. Okay, the doctors can give you the advice that you need if it's a terminal condition, but what does your heart say? What does love say? What do you need in this moment? What is love saying to you right now? What do you need more of? How are you being in this moment? What would you like more of right now? And if it's overwhelming, which it can be with lots of medications and hospital visits and things like that, of course it is, you know, just sitting with that person even for 10 minutes, letting them feel loved and heard and understood.
Giving them a voice.
Making the journey as comfortable, as beautiful, whatever it means to that person, you know, and it's so important to support them through their choices. Because I know it's very difficult for loved ones when someone, obviously you want your loved one to be there all the time, and they may have different choices. They may not want to go down the medical route. They may just want integrative health. whatever it could be for that person. And I think it's making them feel, like you just said, Kev, that the love and the support. It's they're making their decision and that's what they want to do. Making them feel validated.
And also we could turn it around and say, how would you coach the loved ones?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, because they're going through, it's the grief. It's a massive grief. Because they're grieving for their loved one who's ill, and they're also grieving for the life that they're just about to not have anymore. So it's having them come back to their real selves, and what do they need in that moment? What is it that I could show them? What could I give them? What tools and techniques to maybe help them to nurture their selves and know that they're important, and know that what voice they have, they're validated as well. And maybe, try and find some support from, whether it's a man or a woman, whoever it is that's going through it, that they have the right area of expertise to go to and not feel alone, to not feel alone in all of it.
Sure. And so you would have a wide range of clients that you would see. How do you shut off at 5 o'clock? And how do you leave your work at home? How do you not take on everybody's stress? You're listening to so many powerful stories probably from your clients, but how do you not take that on yourself?
Because when I'm totally present, I'm in total awareness, I can have the empathy, I can have the compassion for the other person, but I don't get in the hole with them. I'm there to throw the rubber, to throw the thing, the rubber ring thing from the side of the sea, the boat.
Sure.
But I don't get in there with them, because when you start to get in there with them, that's when you feel everything. That's when I'm no good to anyone if I get into that hole with them. I need to be really in total present moment awareness to be able to guide them, to get them to see further than what's happening in that moment for them. So just switch off. Yeah, I'll just, again, probably just going outside, get some fresh air. I'm pretty good at just sort of switching off from that. And yeah, I'm human. You do have empathy and you do think about that person, of course you do. But back again to the self-care, and if it's something that I need, I may actually go away and do a little bit of tapping, EFT. There's a little bit of tapping, or just whatever comes up for me in that moment. Or sometimes I just do a little bit of emotional work. If something's been quite emotional, I'll just sit with the emotions and just let them rise on back through my awareness, and just allow it to happen. Because if I suppress that and say I'm feeling really sad or angry or whatever that's happening in that moment, I'm just going to make myself worse. So it's good for me to just take them in, to just feel those emotions and just allow them to be there, and then just let them go, and then move on with the day.
And I forgot to ask, so before the stroke, let's go back a little while. Was self-care an important part of your daily life?
Probably not. No, probably not. It's very hard to. I think I was all working and being busy, and probably not taking much time for myself, self-care. And I think when you have a trauma or a completely life-changing experience, you do start to look after yourself more. You do start to, they say that, don't they? There's this sort of like cliche sort of saying, like when something like this happens to you. And I think it was Eckhart Tolle once said something like, when you're fed up and sick and fed up of suffering is when you do something about it. And when you're faced with that situation, wow.
It's so
you have
true.
No choice but to.
It's so true.
And the hard part is when you see a friend or a family member who are burning themselves out, and you so want to give them the love and support, they don't listen. And then something happens, and it's like, it's not I told you so, but it's like, I don't want that for you. I wish you'd just listen to me. Money, all this career, business, whatever it is that you're trying to strive towards, it's not worth it.
No,
it's not worth it. It's being truly happy with who you are, turning in on yourself, and because we can all want that. Of course, nothing but wanted things in life, having goals and dreams and aspirations. That's what gives us this, purpose to move with life. But it's all about sort of tuning inwards and like coming back to being happy rather than wanting X, Y, and Z, believing that's what will make you happy. Because usually the people that are doing that, they're not happy anyway.
No.
They're accumulating all this stuff and money and they're still not happy.
No. And I've taken so much from, because I have a very eclectic group of friends, and I've taken so much love from each and every one of them in different ways. That's been a great thing.
It's the small things, isn't it? Because we're human, we get caught up in all the, we'd like it to be like this or things to go this way. But when you tune back into the small things, just being with your dog or having a nice coffee or tea, whatever it is for you, or, sun on your face, the wind in your hair, that sort of thing. It's those moments that are precious.
So I totally understand how traumatic events change your life for the better, and I think you can choose. There is a moment where you can choose, this is going to change me for the better, or I'm going to be miserable with this for the rest of my life. And I definitely, I know that there's a moment you can choose that. So
down to the choice, back down to that choice again. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I was going to say something for people that are listening, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Don't live small. Don't meander through life and thinking, this is it, I'll just accept this is my lot and this is what I need to do in my life. And it's like, it's okay for you, but I haven't got enough money to do this, and this. It's not what it's about. If you have these sort of right mindset and then you put the action in, things start to pay off for you. Don't live small. Go and follow your dreams. Do what it is that you want to do. And if you want to go to a dance class, you want to learn a new skill in something, you go, I can't do that. I'm not clever enough for that, or I'm not fit enough for that, or I've not got the money. Do it, because we're only here once. We are only here once. It's you follow your dreams, follow your passions. What is it that you want to do? What is it you want to do? I mean, if I could go way back to when, or even 8-9 years ago, and even my partner will say to me now, if I'm, I've said before, if I'm having a bit of a pain day, he said, you used to have every weekend in bed. You'd work all day, you'd work and then you'd come in and then you'd take all your painkillers, you'd have every weekend in bed, start Monday again, to bed. Going back like 8-9 years ago. And I didn't do half the things that I wanted to do. And when I had my stroke, I thought, I've always been interested in meditation, massage, and then I went ahead, even though the doctor told me that my brain wasn't going to be able to compute things and study, and I've done so much stuff over the years. And then I went on, had my own massage business. I worked with children in hospices, young children. I did volunteer work, the Stroke Association, I did volunteer work for them. So I think what I'm trying to say is follow your dreams, follow your passions. If you sit and think, I can't do that, how am I going to be able to do that? No, it's do it. Just do it, try it, just see what it is that you want to do. And if it doesn't work out, that's fine, try something different.
What would you tell your 12-year-old self?
I'd tell my 12-year-old self to trust more. Trust in yourself, believe in yourself. Don't listen to what, it's this thing about listen, sort of everything that you read and you see and you absorb and you take in all the time, social media and all these different things. Okay, that's knowledge, you can listen to things, but go and investigate it yourself. Go and do it yourself. Trust in yourself more. Trust in yourself more and know that you're capable. Know that you're capable of achieving whatever it is that you want to do. Listen to yourself. Listen to your intuition, and more of it's like, who do I want to be today? What do I want to be today? Who do I want to be today? And do more of that. Do more of that rather than I think I'd say that to my 12-year-old self.
Who will Nikki be in 15 years from now?
Who will Nikki be? Ooh. I think that I will be remembered. I will be remembered. I'll be respected. I'll be remembered. I've made a difference. So when people say my name, it's like, oh, I remember Nikki. Yeah, I remember when I went to one of her retreats, or a session with her. Made an impact. Made a difference. Yeah, I don't know how long I'm here for. No one knows how long we're here for. We can't control the future, can we? We can't control anything. But that's what I would like, yeah.
How do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as someone who's compassionate, kind, loving, caring, honest. Someone that you like being in their company. They were there for you. They held the space for you. They felt your heart. They listened to what you had to say.
That's beautiful. And I only say that just because you answered the question as if you weren't going to be here in 15 years.
Oh, there you go. We never know, do we? So yeah, that was very well put. Yeah, that was clever.
Lovely. Well, thank you, Nikki. I really enjoyed our conversation.
I have too. It's been lovely. Thank you.
And I'm definitely going to keep in touch with you.
Definitely.
I think we have a lot more conversations to have.
Yes, it'd be great, wouldn't it?
Would love that. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Have a great day. Take care.